you've got your chessboard, you've looked at the pieces, and you're in roll, and say 3 months has gone past. How then, Matt, do you get them performing? How do you get that wheels motion on the train? How do you actually get it moving?
Oh, that's a good one. I think authenticity. I think, I'm the kind of sales leader where I'm everyone's inherently lazy. I've said that before, right? I've sat in organisations where they ask you to do a 20-page presentation to make your manager feel good about his existence. Let's do a QBR on this account. And fundamentally, you've done it and then you put it down and nothing happens from it. So I kind of say, well, what I'm going to ask you to do is, because we're all in it together, hopefully we can learn from it. It means that we can service a customer better. We can overcome challenges we've got internally in terms of process. We can move quicker. We can be more profitable. We can be more controversial in a good way, or more entrepreneurial. So very much kind of how do you get the wheels motion is empower people and trust them, which I've already mentioned about, but also then allow them to make mistakes, allow them to kind of confess and give them the freedom to grow. That's kind of my mentality. It's a bit like sport. I go back to the sporting, lots of my kind of analogies from sport. If we lose a deal, why do we lose a deal? Let's analyse it. If you look at sport, right, you talk about 3 months in learning. In sport, if you've ever been in the Liverpool dressing room, do they ever sit there and spend 3 hours going through the goals they scored? No. They spent 3 hours talking about when they turned over possession and they lost the ball or whatever. In sales, we never do that. We all sit there and go, let's go out for dinner and let's all celebrate the fact that we won XYZ customer for XYZ millions. You never sit there and go, let's spend 3 hours talking about why we lost that tender, why didn't we do well. So that's one of the things that I like to do 3 months in, is talk about not our wins, but actually why haven't we been successful? Do we really understand why? Is it lack of channel engagement? Is it lack of understanding the commercial? Is it our pricing's wrong? Is it our licensing's wrong? Whatever it may be. And analyse that, because then you empower people to understand rather than just push them. So I suppose I'm a bit weird that I look at things a slightly different way. Restless curiosity is probably quite a nice word. Always trying to understand why. And that's what I try and do about 3 months in, once you've got your pieces. Why are we doing things in the way we do?
Now, I believe you're a strong believer in face-to-face events. In fact, I met you at a face-to-face event. I noticed you're involved in a lot of partner round tables, SKOs, etc., etc. And we met at InfoSec. Now, I want some honest feedback from you, Matt, around the success of these types of events, because they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, very much so.
All your vendors or competitors are there, and it could be ForeScout, Proofpoint, they're all next to each other. They sort of half the time they look similar. So what is the ROI on those events? Are they actually worth it? Do our customers actually getting proper inquiries and coming up to you? Because my opinion is that it's not.
I guess it depends on what you want to get out of it. You've got to be honest with yourself. Again, self-reflection, right? None of the BS. What is an event to you? Is it a branding exercise? Is it a lead gen exercise? Is it a reinvention of yourself? Fundamentally, if you go, it's a lead gen, you're kind of going to be mistaken, because I don't know about you, but I'm being spammed by software vendors who haven't even looked at what I do for a living, asking me if I want to buy an availability solution because I scan their badge on their stand, which is highly amusing. I think post-COVID, we recognised that face-to-face events were important, right? They are. People buy from people. Authenticity, as I said, is really important. But man, I wouldn't want to be a customer now. I mean, I walked around InfoSec, I'm sure you did. I asked my team for the statistics. I don't hold me to this. 359 vendors at InfoSec. 14,000 visitors. What did it cost us? I'll be honest. If you include stand design, T&E for the staff, hotels, very strange drinks receipts that they've probably submitted. Nights out at 3 a.m, with partners, all that type of stuff. And we're a medium-sized vendor. It was at least 150 grand, all in.
Did you even get a deal from it? Did you even get a proper inquiry?
So you'll always argue one deal pays for that.
Yeah.
But the reality is you've got to use a show like InfoSec as a branding exercise. Now, we're in the stage where we have changed our organisation a heck of a lot. We've gone from one single product into a platform sale, all this type of stuff, right? So for us, it was a lot of us actually telling customers that we're different from what the perception is. And I really like that. So for us, it wasn't a sales pitch. It was like, hey, come and talk to us and let's show you how we're different. And we're lucky, right? We've got 3,000 customers globally. We're not a startup. We're 20 years old that's IPO'd and now being taken private. The house analogy. We've been knocked about a bit inside. We've now got this nice new shiny house with loads of nice stuff. Our customers are now buying more from us. So for us, it was a branding exercise. But if you're a startup, you're kind of a bit scuppered because you have to be there to show people who you are. It costs you a lot of money, but it's really hard to get a deal. So I think it's a really tricky one. And there are a lot of events out there right now.
You say it's a branding exercise, but I've alluded to it already. I'm thinking ForeScout, Proofpoint, ForcePoint, all very similar. It all seems similar. How do you differentiate? If a customer comes up to you, an end user customer, he's walking around or she's walking around the stands, they don't really know the difference. You know, the technology is so advanced now. How do you actually say, oh, well, we're actually different?
I think that's where you've got to have your USP. And that's where I guess the answer is I don't know if I'm a commodity player. If I'm in the endpoint space, you've got CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Trends, Symantec, Broadcom. You know, you've got 50 vendors that do 80% of what you do. I guess I'm lucky that my career choices, I've worked in organisations that's maybe 4 or 5 in terms of a TAM. So what I look for in tech is there a market? Yes. How many competitors are there? Yes. Are you unique and strong enough? Yes. So I guess from my perspective, there are only 4 or 5 people that kind of say that they do what we do, which gives me a chance to differentiate themselves. But yeah, it is hard. Gone are the days of we're the only vendor that works on cloud. Gone are the days on we're cost effective. And sometimes it's boiling down to price. I would hate to be in the endpoint space now because it's 80% of the vendors do 80% of what they do. You know, there are hundreds of people in the endpoint space. It's dull.